I want to talk about something many of us fear: being alone. We often associate loneliness with weakness or lack. But I'm here to tell you that God uses solitude for a much higher purpose. You see, solitude isn't just about being by yourself. It's about what happens when you are alone. It's about the powerful transformation that takes place when the noise fades away and it's just you and your thoughts. And here's what's important. This is where you find your true self. God wants you to be alone because it's in that space that you reflect, grow, and discover who you really are. When you're alone, you have no distractions. You can't rely on others to define your worth or give you answers. It's in this solitude that you face yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses. This is the time to dig deep, to confront the things you may have been avoiding. God allows you to be alone because He wants you to strengthen your own foundation, to build resilience and independence. Alone, you can learn how to rely on your own strength, your own abilities, and your own heart. And let's not forget about distractions. Life is full of them: people, situations, opinions, constantly pulling us in different directions. When you're alone, you remove those distractions. You clear your path and can focus on what truly matters. This is the time to work on your goals, to sharpen your mind, and to clarify your purpose. Being alone provides clarity like nothing else can. But it's not just about focusing on what's here and now. God uses this period of solitude to prepare you for what's ahead. Think about it. The challenges you're facing today are setting the stage for the challenges of tomorrow. The lessons you learn in your solitude, whether in overcoming fear, learning discipline, or growing in faith, are what will equip you to handle what's coming next. You are not alone by accident. God is using this time to mold you, to shape you into someone strong enough to conquer what lies ahead. You might not see it now, but He's preparing you for greatness. So don't fear being alone. Embrace it. Work on becoming the best version of yourself. Understand that in this space, God is preparing you for a purpose greater than you can imagine. Trust the process, trust the solitude, and trust that you're exactly where you need to be. When you are alone, there is a unique opportunity for self-reflection that you simply cannot achieve when you are surrounded by others. Solitude provides the space for you to be with your thoughts, your feelings, and your inner voice without the distractions of the outside world. It's in this solitude that you can truly understand who you are, what you stand for, and what you stand for, and what you want from life. When you remove the noise of other people's opinions, their expectations, and their needs, you create room to listen to your own heart and mind. Most people are so used to being around others, whether it's family, friends, or colleagues, that they rarely take the time to reflect on themselves. They live in a constant state of busyness, always reacting to the demands of others, often forgetting to stop and think about what they actually need or want. But when you are alone, you have the opportunity to pause. This pause allows you to turn inward and examine your life. You can ask yourself questions that will help you discover your true desires, your passions, and the purpose you want to pursue. Self-reflection is not always an easy process. It requires being honest with yourself and confronting the things you may have been avoiding. It's easy to keep busy, to hide behind the noise of the world, but being alone forces you to look deeper. Alone, you're forced to face your fears, your flaws, and your insecurities. You can no longer rely on the comfort of other people's judgments or opinions. It's just you. And you have to come to terms with who you are. This is where personal growth begins. When you reflect on your life and get to identify areas where you are thriving and areas where you are struggling, you can take a good hard look at your choices, your habits, and your mindset. Solitude creates an environment where you can be brutally honest with yourself, and that honesty is the foundation for growth. But beyond identifying weaknesses, self-reflection in solitude also allows you to recognize your strengths. It's often when we are alone that we come to realize the depth of our resilience, the power of our determination, and the untapped potential we have within. Without the distractions of daily life, you can take stock of what you've already overcome. In these quiet moments, you can remind yourself of the victories, both big and small, that have shaped who you are today. You can start to understand the value you bring to the world. something that might have been drowned out in the noise of everyday life. Solitude also gives you the time to reflect on your values and beliefs. In the midst of social pressures, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you. But when you're alone, you can reassess your values, your priorities, and your purpose. You can ask yourself important questions like, what kind of person do I want to be? What do I stand for? What do I want to contribute to the world? These are the questions that guide your life and help you stay grounded in your beliefs. And you can only truly answer them when you give yourself the space to reflect. Self-reflection also leads to clarity. When you constantly surround yourself with other people and external noise, it's difficult to make sense of your thoughts. But in solitude, your mind has the chance to quiet down, and this calmness allows for greater clarity of thought. You start to see things more clearly, the decisions you need to make, the path you need to take, and the future you want to create for yourself. Without the constant influence of others, you become more in tune with your own intuition, and this internal compass becomes your guide in life. In these quiet moments of reflection, you are given the opportunity to reconnect with your deepest desires, with the version of yourself that exists beyond the roles you play for others. You can ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like? What legacy do I want to leave behind? These questions are not ones you can easily answer when you are constantly busy or surrounded by the opinions of others. But when you are alone, you can dig deeper and you'll find that you have the answers within you. Solitude offers the chance to step away from the noise and reconnect with your truest self. It allows you to take inventory of your life, reflect on your actions and decisions, and make changes if necessary. It's in this space that you grow and evolve into the person you are meant to be. So the next time you find yourself alone, embrace the opportunity for self-reflection. Don't run from it or see it as a negative. Instead, recognize that in those quiet moments you are being given the precious gift of understanding yourself on a deeper level. God's desire for you to be alone is not a punishment, but rather a powerful opportunity to build personal strength. In solitude, you are able to develop the emotional and mental fortitude necessary to face life's challenges. When there is no one around to support you or distract you, you are forced to rely on yourself, which builds inner strength that lasts a lifetime. The strength cultivated in these quiet moments is not just about surviving, it's about thriving in the face of adversity and rising above life's trials with resilience. In our everyday lives, we often lean on the support of others. Whether it's friends, family, or mentors, these relationships offer comfort and security, and that's valuable. But there's a critical lesson in being left to face challenges alone. You see, when you are isolated, you don't have the luxury of someone else's encouragement or protection. Instead, you have only yourself and your own resolve to rely on. This forces you to dig deeper than you ever thought possible. It challenges you to develop the resilience to keep going when things get tough, the discipline to keep working when there's no one there to cheer you on, and the courage to face your fears head on without the crutch of other people. Building personal strength in solitude means learning how to manage your emotions without external validation. When you're surrounded by others, it's easy to fall into the habit of relying on their opinions and reactions to guide your emotional state. But when you're alone, you no longer have that comfort. This can be uncomfortable at first, but it is also one of the greatest gifts God gives us in solitude. It teaches you how to regulate your emotions, how to deal with stress, and how to process difficult feelings in a healthy way. You begin to realize that you are capable of handling your emotions, making choices, and staying focused on your goals even when things are not ideal. Moreover, solitude gives you the opportunity to conquer your fears. Alone, there is no one to distract you or to offer solutions to your problems. Instead, you are forced to confront whatever it is that's holding you back. It could be fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of the unknown. Whatever it is, being alone gives you the space to face it without the safety net of others. You learn that fear is not something to be avoided, but something to be confronted. And as you confront your fears in solitude, you realize that they have far less power over you than you once believed. God allows these moments of solitude because he understands that in them you can become stronger. It's in these moments when you experience vulnerability and self-doubt that you have the potential to grow the most. You learn that your strength doesn't come from the approval of others or from external circumstances, it comes from within. You discover your own capacity for resilience, your ability to persevere even when you feel like giving up. These lessons in solitude become the foundation for the strength you'll need in every other area of your life. This personal strength isn't just emotional or mental. It extends to your spirit as well. When you're alone, you have the time to nurture your spiritual growth. You can reflect on your faith, deepen your connection with God, and strengthen your spiritual practices without the distractions of everyday life. It's in these moments that you realize your spiritual strength is just as important as your emotional and mental strength. You learn that God is your true source of strength. And in solitude, you have the opportunity to grow closer to him, to deepen your trust, and to understand that his power is within you. As you develop these layers of personal strength, emotional, mental, and spiritual, you begin to realize that you are far more capable than you ever gave yourself credit for. In times of solitude, you might feel the weight of life bearing down on you, but in the quiet moments, you find your power. God's intention is not for you to be alone because he wants to punish you. He wants you to realize your own strength, to help you see that you are capable of standing tall, even when the world seems to be against you. It's in these times that you grow into the person God has always known you could be. The strength you build in solitude becomes the foundation for the challenges ahead. It prepares you for life's storms, teaches you resilience in the face of adversity, and helps you understand that no matter what happens, you can handle it. This is why God allows periods of isolation not to make you weak, but to make you strong. Solitude is his way of helping you unlock your true potential and empowering you to rise to the occasion in ways you never thought possible. When you are alone, one of the greatest benefits is the ability to eliminate distractions. In today's fast-paced world, we are constantly bombarded with information, demands, and people vying for our attention. These distractions can often pull us in so many directions that it becomes difficult to focus on what truly matters. But when you are alone, you have the unique opportunity to clear away the noise and focus on your own goals, aspirations, and the deeper desires of your heart. This focus is not only essential for personal growth, but is also a crucial element in achieving success. We live in a world that thrives on constant connectivity. Emails, phone calls, social media updates, and even the demands of others often leave us with little time to focus on ourselves. Every day we're surrounded by external pressures that make it difficult to concentrate on the things that will truly help us move forward in life. Whether it's the constant rush of daily tasks or the opinions of others, these distractions can create a sense of overwhelm and make it harder to focus on our true purpose. However, when we are alone, we can step away from this noise and create the space needed for clarity. Being alone gives you the rare opportunity to connect with your own thoughts and vision without interference. You no longer have to react to the needs or expectations of others. Instead, you can turn inward and listen to your own voice, your own intuition, and your own desires. This space allows you to focus on what you want to achieve, the values you want to live by, and the goals you want to pursue. It's an environment where you can create your own path forward without being swayed by the opinions or expectations of others. Without the distractions of the world around you, you can focus on developing the discipline and consistency required to reach your goals. When surrounded by other people, there are often too many external factors to contend with, and it can be easy to lose sight of what is important. But in solitude, you have the chance to cultivate a deeper level of discipline. You can organize your thoughts, plan your next steps, and commit to the work that will ultimately bring you closer to your objectives. This is a rare gift that comes with being alone, and it is one that should not be taken for granted. In solitude, you are also able to see your life more clearly. When distractions are removed, you gain the ability to assess your progress, identify areas of improvement, and recalibrate your approach. You can look at your life objectively, without the pressure of other people's timelines or opinions. It's an opportunity to get real with yourself and recognize where you are in your journey. You might discover that you've been spending too much time on things that don't align with your goals or values, or you might see areas where you've been neglecting your potential. In the quiet, you can make the adjustments necessary to get back on track. Moreover, eliminating distractions doesn't just help with goal setting and planning, it also helps with creativity. When you're alone, your mind has the freedom to wander and explore new ideas without interruption. You have the space to be innovative, to think outside the box, and to envision the future in a way that you might not have been able to do when distracted by the opinions or judgments of others. This creative thinking is vital not only for solving problems, but for setting new goals, building new ventures, or simply exploring new possibilities in life. Being alone can also help you identify what truly matters to you. With so many external influences in our daily lives, it can be easy to get caught up in things that aren't in alignment with our core values. When you are alone, you can step back and ask yourself, what do I want out of life? What is important to me? What am I willing to sacrifice for my dreams? These questions are often lost in the noise of everyday life, but in solitude, you can answer them with clarity and confidence. You can make choices that reflect your true self and your deepest desires. This focus gained in solitude can also be a source of peace. In a world filled with constant stimulation, the idea of quiet and stillness can seem unsettling. However, it is in that peace that true focus is born. The act of stepping away from distractions is not about avoiding the world, it's about reconnecting with your own inner truth and finding peace within yourself. This peace gives you the clarity needed to move forward with purpose, to take action on your goals, and to live a life that is aligned with your values. Being alone is an opportunity to reset, refocus, and realign your life with what truly matters. It's a time to eliminate distractions that would otherwise prevent you from achieving your goals and living with intention. Without the noise of the world, you can focus on the deeper aspects of life, the things that will truly lead to personal growth and success. So embrace the moments of solitude. Use them as an opportunity to clear away distractions and get focused on what you want to accomplish. You may find that in the quiet, you discover the path forward more clearly than ever before. You are given the invaluable chance to confront and overcome your fears in ways that would be impossible when surrounded by others. Fear, in many ways, is a force that can hold us back from pursuing our dreams, taking risks, and stepping into the unknown. It can be an overwhelming and paralyzing force, especially when it is amplified by the presence and opinions of others. But in solitude, you are forced to face these fears head-on. Without the distraction of external voices, you begin to see fear for what it truly is, an emotion that can be acknowledged, managed, and ultimately overcome. Fear often thrives in environments where external pressures and expectations are present. When others are around, their doubts, anxieties, and judgments can compound our own, making our fears feel more powerful than they actually are. The fear of failure can be heightened when you fear disappointing those around you. The fear of rejection feels more intense when you imagine others judging you. These external factors often prevent us from taking the first step toward confronting the very things we fear. But when you are alone, there are no external voices to influence your thoughts. You are free to deal with your own fears on your terms, without the weight of anyone else's judgment or expectations. One of the most powerful aspects of being alone is that it gives you the space to understand the root of your fears. Without the distractions of others, you can sit with yourself and reflect on why certain things cause anxiety or hesitation. Is it fear of failure? Fear of the unknown? Fear of not being good enough? When you are alone, you have the opportunity to truly understand your fears at a deep level. This awareness is the first step in overcoming them. Once you know what your fears are and where they stem from, you can begin to dismantle them piece by piece. The process of confronting your fears alone allows you to build resilience. When you face your fears head on, especially without the comfort or support of others, you strengthen your resolve. You begin to prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way, even when the outcome is uncertain. You begin to realize that fear does not have the power to dictate your actions unless you allow it to. This shift in mindset is critical for personal growth. When you choose to face fear instead of running from it, you build the confidence necessary to take on even bigger challenges in the future. Moreover, solitude offers you the opportunity to build the courage to take risks. Fear often holds us back from taking the steps that would move us forward, whether that's pursuing a new career, starting a business, or making a significant life change. It's in the quiet moments of being alone that you begin to gain the courage to step out of your comfort zone. Without the noise of others' opinions or judgments, you are more likely to hear your own inner voice, the one that encourages you to take a leap of faith, to move forward despite uncertainty. When you are alone, there is no one to talk you out of it, no one to reinforce your doubts. This freedom allows you to take risks that you may have otherwise avoided, and in doing so, you learn that the greatest growth happens when you push through your fears and embrace the unknown. Facing your fears while alone also allows you to develop the strength to trust yourself. Often, fear is rooted in a lack of trust in our own abilities. We doubt our own judgment, skills, and capacity to handle difficult situations. But in solitude, you can begin to rebuild that trust. When you confront fear without external help, you are showing yourself that you are capable. You prove to yourself that no matter what happens, you have the strength to face whatever comes your way. Over time, this self-trust builds a foundation of confidence that becomes invaluable in all areas of your life. The act of confronting fear alone also allows for deep personal reflection. When you are in solitude, you have the space to process your emotions and reactions to fear. You can assess how fear has held you back in the past and how you can overcome it in the future. These reflections allow you to change your relationship with fear. Instead of seeing it as something that controls you, you begin to see it as a natural part of the process of growth and change. Fear no longer becomes something to avoid, but something to navigate and learn from. God's purpose in leading you into solitude is not to make you suffer, but to help you grow stronger. By facing your fears in solitude, you begin to see how much power you have to change your circumstances. It's in these quiet moments that you develop the inner strength and courage to pursue your dreams, overcome challenges, and ultimately live a life that is not defined by fear, but by the bravery to move forward despite it. The longer you stay in solitude and confront your fears, the more you realize that fear no longer has the hold over you that it once did. You begin to feel empowered, knowing that you can face whatever comes your way with confidence, courage, and the strength that has been built in your time alone. In the end, solitude isn't just about being alone, it's about learning how to conquer fear and rise above it. When you are alone, you are given the rare and powerful opportunity to connect with your purpose in a way that is often clouded by the influence of others. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of why you do what you do. The pressures of society, family, and even friends can sometimes distort your vision, leading you to pursue things that may not align with your true calling. But when you find yourself alone, you can reconnect with the essence of who you are and what you're meant to accomplish.